Syracuse, New York, a quiet town, hardworking people. An ordinary family lived in their midst. Ryan Lawrence, the father, appeared to be a devoted husband and a loving father. He was known for his friendly demeanor. His wife, Trista, was a picture of warmth and kindness. Their days revolved around their baby daughter, Maddox, the apple of their eyes. Life seemed idyllic. But, evil often lurks beneath the surface, hidden from unsuspecting eyes. Ryan and Trista were high school sweethearts. Their love story was the stuff of fairy tales. They built a life together, centered around their precious daughter. Maddox was a bright and cheerful baby. Her laughter filled their home, and her infectious smile brightened even the dullest days. The Lawrences seemed to have it all: love, family, and a promising future. Little did anyone know that a storm was brewing within the four walls of their home. The community embraced the young family. They were considered model citizens. Ryan was a skilled mechanic, always willing to lend a helping hand. February 20th, 2016. A day that began like any other. The sun rose, casting its golden rays upon the sleepy town of Syracuse. But the serenity of the morning was shattered by an unnerving silence. Maddox Lawrence, the little girl with the infectious laugh, was missing. Her absence hung heavy in the air, a chilling premonition of the horrors to come. Trista Lawrence, frantic with worry, contacted the police. Her husband, Ryan, was nowhere to be found. He had vanished with their daughter, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and mounting fear. The community, shocked and bewildered, rallied around Trista, offering support and prayers. Hope flickered amidst the growing despair. As hours turned into days, the search for Maddox intensified. The FBI joined the investigation. Every nook and cranny of Syracuse was scoured for any sign of the missing child. The case garnered national attention, gripping the nation with a sense of dread and disbelief. Behind the Lawrences' closed doors, a darkness had taken root. Ryan, battling demons unseen, had become increasingly withdrawn. His once gentle demeanor was now punctuated by fits of rage and despair. The pressures of life, both real and imagined, pressed down upon him. His mental health deteriorated, pulling him deeper into the abyss. Trista, oblivious to the extent of her husband's turmoil, tried to reach out to offer comfort and support, but her efforts were met with resistance. Ryan, lost in his own private hell, pushed her away, retreating further into himself. The chasm between them widened, casting a chilling shadow over their once happy home. Unbeknownst to Trista, Ryan harbored a sinister secret. Fueled by paranoia and delusion, he had convinced himself that Maddox was in danger. The details remained murky, lost in the labyrinth of his troubled mind. But one thing was clear. Ryan believed that he alone held the key to his daughter's safety. The search for Maddox continued relentlessly, but hope dwindled with each passing day. The community, once a beacon of support, grappled with fear and suspicion. The image of the smiling baby girl on missing posters served as a constant reminder of the tragedy that had befallen them. Then, a grim discovery shattered the lingering hope. Ryan Lawrence was apprehended in a remote part of New York State. His demeanor was detached, his eyes vacant, as if the gravity of his actions had yet to penetrate the fog of his delusion. He confessed to the unthinkable. He had harmed Maddox, his own flesh and blood. The details, revealed through Ryan's fragmented confession, painted a chilling picture of a descent into madness. Driven by paranoia and a warped sense of love, he had taken Maddox to a secluded area. There, in the cold embrace of winter, he had committed an act of unspeakable cruelty. The arrest of Ryan Lawrence sent shockwaves through Syracuse and beyond. The man who was once considered a loving father was now unmasked as a cold-blooded killer. The community reeled, struggling to comprehend the enormity of his crime. The idyllic facade of the Lawrence family had been irrevocably shattered, replaced by a chilling portrait of deception and despair. Ryan's trial was a media spectacle. drawing attention from across the nation. Prosecutors presented a compelling case detailing the premeditated nature of his actions. They argued that Ryan, consumed by jealousy and resentment, had planned to harm Maddox as a way to exact revenge on his estranged wife. His defense attorneys, however, painted a different picture. They argued that Ryan, plagued by mental illness, was not in control of his actions. They presented evidence of his history of depression and anxiety, suggesting that he had experienced a psychotic break at the time of the murder. After weeks of testimony and deliberation, the jury reached a verdict. Ryan Lawrence was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The courtroom, filled with a palpable sense of anticipation, erupted in a mix of gasps and sobs as the verdict was read. For Trista, the verdict brought a sense of closure, but it did little to ease the pain of losing her daughter in such a horrific manner. She delivered a heart-wrenching victim impact statement, describing the depth of her loss and the enduring agony of knowing that her child's life had been taken by the one person who was supposed to protect her. The community of Syracuse, while relieved that justice had been served, grappled with the aftermath of the tragedy. The case had exposed the dark underbelly of their town, shattering the illusion of safety and security. The tragedy left an indelible mark on the community. The laughter of children playing in parks now carried a faint echo of sorrow. The once familiar streets where Maddox had taken her first steps were now imbued with a haunting silence. The shadow of her absence loomed large, a constant reminder of the fragility of life. Trista, forever changed by the ordeal, found solace in her grief support group. Surrounded by others who had experienced similar losses, she began the arduous journey of healing. The road ahead was long and arduous, but she clung to the memory of Maddox's infectious laughter, drawing strength from the love that death could never erase. The community, too, sought healing. Candlelight vigils were held, their flickering flames a testament to the enduring spirit of hope. In the aftermath of the trial, Trista faced the daunting task of rebuilding her life. The home she had shared with Ryan and Maddox held too many painful memories. Each corner whispered stories of a happiness that was no more. With a heavy heart, she made the difficult decision to move, seeking a fresh start in a place untouched by the specter of her tragedy. She poured her grief into advocacy, becoming a voice for victims of domestic violence and child abuse. She shared her story at conferences and community events, her words carrying the weight of her experience and the urgency of her mission. Her strength and resilience inspired others, offering a beacon of hope to those grappling with their own pain. The community of Syracuse rallied around Trista, offering support and understanding. The trial may have ended, but the quest for understanding continued. Experts weighed in on the complexities of the case, dissecting the psychological factors that contributed to Ryan Lawrence's horrific actions. The case sparked a nationwide conversation about mental health awareness, prompting calls for increased funding for mental health services and support systems. The media scrutiny, while intense and often intrusive, shed light on the often overlooked issue of paternal filicide, the murder of a child by their father. Experts emphasized the importance of recognizing the warning signs of domestic violence and child abuse, urging individuals to speak out if they suspected that a child was in danger. The case of Ryan Lawrence served as a stark reminder that evil often wears a familiar face. It shattered the illusion that such tragedies only happen to other people, in other communities. The story of Ryan Lawrence is a tragedy that defies easy answers. It is a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of untreated mental illness, the insidious nature of domestic violence, and the urgent need for greater awareness and intervention. It is a story that must be told, not to sensationalize or exploit, but to learn from and to honor the memory of the innocent life lost. In the end, the case of Ryan Lawrence leaves us with more questions than answers. It forces us to confront the darkness that resides within the human heart and the fragility of life itself. It challenges us to be vigilant, to speak out against injustice, and to offer support to those who are suffering. Maddox Lawrence's life, though tragically cut short, serves as a reminder of the preciousness of innocence and the importance of protecting the most vulnerable among us.